Hey guys, welcome back for another Trick Tip Tuesday. And today's tip, I'm going to talk to you guys about a tool collection that you should start putting together when you're getting into metal shaping. So that's a super common question as people are asking, what tools should I be focusing on when I'm trying to get into metal shaping or being able to work with sheet metal. And the first thing I usually say is a good hammer and dolly set, or starting your collection with a few pieces here and there. Obviously, some of the machines that are behind me, these are all great machines for being able to do shaping, forming, planishing, English wheeling, all that kind of stuff. And those can help you, create compound curves and make some really cool custom parts. But at the end of the day, say you're working on a car, you have to make a new custom part, you have to get it on the car, weld it in. You still have to hammer and dolly your welds and everything to get everything all smooth and as it should be. So hammer and dolly work is pretty much the most basic but widely used form of metal shaping that you need to be good at, no matter if you're beginning or you're pretty experienced. So what you see here is a collection that I've put together over the years of metal shaping. Some of this, like this dolly here, is the first dolly I ever owned back in high school. I still have it and I still use it. And then obviously from there, I've collected pieces and things here and there. And you may ask, why do you need so much? Well, the more sheet metal work you're doing, the more projects you're working on, the more one-off type projects that you're working on, you may find a use or something that you need that you don't have as far as the hammer goes. So when you look at most body hammers, you have a flat hammering face and then you have typically some type of other pick on the other side. And that is pretty common through a lot of different hammers, whether you have one brand or another. You're always going to have a hammering face and then some type of pick on the other side. And that, like I said, that's pretty universal across brands. And so when you start saying, okay, well, why do I need a bunch of hammers that have a flat face on them? Well, sometimes it's more about what's on the other side than the face itself. Certain brands you might find a liking to based on maybe how the handle feels in your hand, or some of it might be just based on looks. But really, I put together my collection based on what I was needing for my hammer work, or what I found I was needing that maybe I was missing, that say, hey, next time when I'm going to need that, I want to have that hammer ready to go for when I'm ready to use that. So, for instance, I have this hammer here, which is a snap-on. This one has a domed face on it with a nice broad pick end on the other side. And I really liked this hammer, but I was always trying to use the pick end at a different angle than maybe it's traditionally used for. So I was like, let's grab another one. And I actually cut the end off, turned it 90 degrees and welded it back on. So it's the same exact end on this end. I just turned it 90 degrees on the hammer for a different type of hammering. So again, you'll find yourself, the more work you're doing, finding more uses for different picks, different ends of the hammer. I even have an aluminum set of hammers for when I'm working on aluminum and I'm not trying to do a lot of heavy stretching necessarily in the panel. I'm really just trying to smooth something out. These work fantastic. You might say it's weird to have an aluminum hammer, but these actually do a really good job on aluminum because you have a soft metal, and even though these are aluminum, they're still hard. They're just lightweight, so you don't get as aggressive of a hammering action when you're working on them. And then this set does have a couple of different picks, so pick those up for aluminum work. You're gonna have everything from different types of spoons, things like that. I mean, there's such a wide selection of dollies, and dollies are just as important as whatever hammers you may have. So we have available here at Trick Tools this Ron Covell Signature Series set of hammer and dollies, which is a 5-piece hammer kit with a 5-piece dolly as well. So all in all, you get a 10-piece set, and it's going to give you the basic necessities of everything you're going to need in a hammer and dolly set. You're going to get a variety of different pick ends on it, some different faces, sizes, even a dome face. and then the basic dolly setup to complete that set. But even with that, there's still going to be other dollies that this kit doesn't have that you may still be looking for. So you're going to need to, you know, look around. I mean, all dollies, you have your standard shapes that are pretty universal throughout a lot of different brands, that sort of thing, but you're going to have other shapes that you can find that are going to allow you to do some different work based on, you know, what you're working on that maybe this set wouldn't provide, or you pick up some pieces other places. You're going to have just as many dollies as you are going to have hammers. So you know, some of these have some pretty different aggressive shapes on them for doing a variety of different things. Even one like this is a handheld deal that you can slide into tight areas and be able to do some hammering like that. I even have a rubber dolly. This rubber dolly here is really nice because sometimes you want to just move metal. You don't want to necessarily hit hammer on dolly and stretch it necessarily. You want to hit it with a rubber dolly because you want that solid backing, but you want the metal to just kind of move instead of stretch. So I have a rubber dolly. I even have this little tiny shot bag here. That's just a nice handheld unit that you can you know, be able to hold behind something and move metal as well. So there is a huge selection out there, many different brands, all that. My advice would be is that when you start looking for hammers, obviously get what you can afford. You don't have to go right for the, you know, the highest end, top of the line stuff right away, especially if you're just getting into it. But you want to make sure you find hammers that have hardened, you know, ends on them. That way, as you're hammering on steel and other materials, the faces of your hammers are going to hold up over time. You want to make sure that they have a real nice weight to them. So when you pick up a hammer, you know, obviously if you can't, if you're ordering offline, that sort of thing, it's really hard to, you know, judge on the weight, but you want the hammer to just feel nice in your hand. You don't want the head of the hammer to feel extra heavy because it'll wear your hand out and your arm out as you're hammering. Because when you're doing hammer and dolly work, a lot of the work ends up being small strokes and many hits. So the more awkward weighted the hammer is, the more that might wear on you physically. So you want something that's got a nice weight to it, that's going to have a nice balance and be able to, you know, do the job you need while being easy to swing at the same time. Dollies, same thing. Make sure you're getting hardened dollies, dollies that are going to, you know, take the beating and the abuse over time. But even with all that, sometimes you just end up wearing your hammers, you end up wearing your dollies, that sort of thing. And the beauty of, you know, if you get the right stuff is that you can sand on them, polish them out, you know, get the finishes where you need them. I did do a video a while ago talking about doing a new finish on a dolly where you know, may want to kind of perfect the shape that comes on these, because these are all mass produced. So sometimes the shapes aren't exactly, you know, perfect all the way around. So sometimes you do want to go through and you know, polish off those surfaces and be able to, you know, make it how you need it for your liking. So again, huge selection of stuff. There's a few tips for you on what to look for. We do have this Ron Covell set available, but get what you can afford, get what is going to get you started, and just enjoy the process of learning how to use hammer and dolly. There's a lot of different techniques. We won't go into that right now, but thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.